الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن سيدنا وشفيعنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أولما أصابتكم مصيبة قد أصبتم مثليها قلتم أن هذا قل هو من عند أنفسكم إن الله على كل شيء قدير. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله الكريم وعلى ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. My fellow respected Muslim brothers and sisters in Islam, to continue with the topic that we began last week, where we began talking about how crises affect a group of people. And not only does crisis affect a group of people, Islam, being a religion of completeness, a religion of totality, teaches us on how to deal with the various events that come our way. In order to attain the maximum success, it is very critical for us to diagnose our problem. If one is able to diagnose a given problem, it will create effectiveness in their life, and that will create a great level of success. As Muslims, we have a lot of potential and a lot of key elements that can create and maximize our success, whether it is on a social level, whether it is on a political level, whether it is on an economic level. But the reason why we have lost our success, lost our glory, and continue to dwindle and go downwards is because we have not placed our knowledge and our base of all these successful elements in the proper manner. In other words, if you look at our economic structure, we know it is successful. If you look at the resources we have on a global level, it can aid us to become very, very successful on various levels. But when you lose focus of that which you have, and you are not able to utilize it in a manner that will bring you the necessary success, you end up to seeing yourself in a position of tremendous failure. Likewise, when we look at our social structure, we have a lot to offer ourselves and humanity in general. We have the best of respect we can share to one another. We have social patterns within our religious structure that can help society achieve on a greater level. However, despite us having the highest regarding our social structure, we continue to be a failure, not because our religion doesn't have the best to offer, but because we choose to let go of our social structure in exchange of possibly that which may be incorrect out there. Also, if you look at the political aspect of Muslims and Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed us with the ability to be the most egalitarian in nature. There is no nation that can be more honest, trustworthy and good than that of the Muslim. However, when you look at our relinquishing of the Islamic principles of justice, you end up seeing us to become the lowest of low. And sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what has created this given situation? Before we continue further, we have to ask ourselves, what is the definition of a master versus what is the definition of a slave? What is the definition of a believer? What is the definition of a disbeliever? Once you are able to understand and distinguish between each of these, you create success for yourself. Just to say you are a Muslim is not enough. But to able to understand the distinguishing factor between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, and being able to implement your knowledge regarding the distinguishing factors, that creates success in an individual. On the other hand, if we fail in this regard, then we become individuals that reduce the higher level of aspiration. Likewise, if you are a boss and the other is an employee, if they both get very blurred, in other words, there is no distinguishing factor between the both. At times, the employee will begin to say, well, you know what, I do all the work anyway, I'm like the boss, and you can ask me whatever you need to be asked. This can create problem in the organizational structure. Therefore, Islam has taught us very well that there is a position for every individual, whether it is the boss, or for that matter, whether it is the individual. Also, it is very important for us to understand our true strength as well as our vulnerabilities. The problem we have in today's time is that we have displaced ourselves to such an extent that we don't know when we are strong, we don't know when we are weak. As a result, we put our strength in the wrong places and we put our vulnerabilities in the wrong places. For example, there is a certain place you show your strength. If you are a student, it is in academia. Or if you are a businessman, it is generally in the area of your specialty. But when you don't understand the value of your strength, instead of putting your strength and positive energies in your business, you displace it by showing anger when you walk at home through the door. Because you didn't have a good day at work, so now what you do? You get angry at your family and kids. It doesn't work like that. Or for example, if you are a student, when it's time for you to study and be focused in what you are attempting to accomplish, when you don't do the right thing, then naturally your mind tells you you are failing. When your mind tells you you are failing, and you begin to foresee the consequences of that, you go home, or you go to your boss, or you do something that is very, very drastic out there. Now sometimes we are not able to evaluate why we are doing the wrong thing. The reason why we are doing the wrong thing is because we are displacing the position that we have. And when you displace the position you have, you end up creating havoc in your life. Another problem we also have is that on the issue of displacement, we focus on everything other than that which is necessary. Now take for example the average individual that is roughly 55 years of age. They're 55 years old. The average person in our community will have about 3 kids. Chances are they're 55, not only will they have 3 kids, they also will possibly have 1 or 2 grandchildren. That individual, that male, female, who's a grandparent for the most part, will also have roughly anywhere from 8 to 10 people under their control. In other words, they have in their ability to make sure 8 to 10 people can live their lives better than anyone else out there. But look at human nature. Instead of this person focusing on his given family, this person will focus on every individual other than his family. He'll see a little boy doing something out there that they shouldn't be doing, and he'll pick on that kid and say, look at that grandfather, he doesn't care about that child. Look at so and so, he doesn't care about his son or daughter. The man, the woman, they're losing their very own family. Their own child is doing things that are immoral in nature. Their own child and grandchild is doing things that are extremely questionable in nature. But that individual doesn't focus on that, but focuses on everything other than that. That's what the Quran says, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. The Quran doesn't say go and focus on the whole world out there. What the Quran says, first focus on yourself. Once you have focused on yourself, begin to focus on your family. Once you have put your family right, thereafter you gradually go out. It's kind of like an onion. You know, as the onion, it opens up gradually. You start off with the top, and thereafter you move towards the outside. Unfortunately, as Muslims, we focus on the outside more than the inside, causing tremendous amount of devastation for